You gotta save being funny for when we're recording.
I thought the whole point was to get the vibe started, and if we don't,
That's true.
we're in big trouble.
Well, you know what? The point is, get the vibe started. It's my job in this universe to capture the vibe. That's what I do. I document the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. I can, and on this thing, I help facilitate it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're here. It's the Very A podcast, Trinity Infinity, back at it again. This time we have 2 pups.
Yeah, Magic and Moguls.
Come here, Magic.
Come on, Magic, get down here, you fucking crazy thing.
Hopefully she's in the short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these maniacs have started their love affair.
Yep. And us maniacs continue our love affair.
Yeah, we continue ours, yeah. God, I can't believe how beautiful it is today. It's been such a drab this last week. So rainy every day.
Even this morning was
a drab, yeah.
Oh, when I woke up, you guys were like, it's a little rainy out. I'm like, what the fuck?
This is supposed to be our nice day.
This was our day. No, it's April. April is a very frustrating month in New York because it feels like, yeah, it's time to fucking get out there. And most of the month is shitty.
Little April showers.
Yeah, it'll lead to May flowers.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Gotta plant those seeds right.
Well, we're planting the seeds by, we took acid.
Yeah, we fertilize the soil. I don't know what metaphor I want to use for acid and growing.
The last podcast the 3 of us did together, we were on acid. This time Cass didn't take it. She's the control subject.
Yeah, totally.
I'm the person who's going to maybe halfway through this podcast run out and take a phone call, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're busy.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. We're going to hit some balls around later, too. Some tinnies.
Yeah, we're going to get out and play tennis for the first time.
I don't have my, Venus and Serena tennis outfit on, which I'm kind of sad about, but I guess I can make this work.
Do you have a designated
They always
tennis
play
outfit?
if I dream, fantasizing about playing tennis, it's like I'm in a tennis outfit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the full get up.
Yeah, fuck, man. We're really missing
They
out.
brought I remember it was controversial what they wore
I know.
growing up because, I was like an actual tennis player when they were coming up. So I looked up to them a lot, and they, wearing the skirts that they wore on court. And I think one of them wore earrings or something that was really controversial one time.
Mm.
They made their braids controversial.
Oh, well, yeah. Then there's yeah.
We should win.
The
We
tennis
should watch
racism.
the Oscar award-winning
racism.
performance of Will Smith and King Richard.
Definitely.
Don't you think?
Definitely.
I haven't
Will
seen
obviously has some advice to give out,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I love that he slapped Chris Rock and then he won the Oscar and he weaved that into the speech protect your family.
Definitely.
Like
Protect her.
wow, damn, man. Did someone whisper that into your ear? Like, how did they did a writer come and be like, here's how you handle this right now?
Yeah.
Gracefully. The speech will be played till the end of time.
No, it just happens to come from somebody that's been lying to get attention their entire life.
Totally.
So yeah, he had a story that could justify his actions really swiftly.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
exactly. Well, that's the thing when I see culture taking all this so seriously. It always just comes back to me, to that for me. Like, are you kidding? These are actors.
Well, when you brought it up to me, we actually got in a little bit of a tiff because I was like, it's not real. And I didn't even want to hear about it. I was offended it was in my news feed. I was like, get these fools out of here. I don't care about their fake fights.
Yeah, I was like,
on
did you
these
see
fake shows.
I was like, you see what happened last night? And you're like, it's not real. And I was like, oh, really? And I spent the next 3 days, every time it came up, just really thinking about it from that perspective. What? That blew my mind. Whoa, maybe this isn't real. Because my first instinct when I saw that video, I was like, that was staged.
Yeah, that's.
But you think about it for a second, and you're like,
But you've come around to it's real.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's real dumb. I could tell you that.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't pimp tight enough for it to be staged, I guess. A little too messiness around it.
There would have been a little more Hollywood razzle dazzle
Something
on
like
it.
that.
Something.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like Chris Rock would have said something back.
Or security. They would have figured out a way. Security would have come on stage, or he would have been escorted out. You could tell no one knew what to do. This was clearly not.
Chris Rock didn't even know what to do. He just stood there with a smile, being like,
"What a boss! God damn!"
I think he said something. He whispered that he's like, I could,
I could
the things I could say or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do get a little bit oppressed by celebrity news, but I will say it's been fascinating to see how people react to the celebrity news more than the celebrity.
Oh, yeah.
People's choosing sides and taking stances and,
That's why it's
inserting
worth
philosophical conversations into it, and I love it.
It's worth dipping your toe in and kind of seeing what the newest celebrity news is every now and then. Just for that reason, it's like a cultural litmus test. Like, what are we all overreacting to? What are we being purposely distracted by?
Yeah.
And just take a look in at that and the lengths that they're having to go through right now to get our attention is pretty disgusting.
Well, that's why I thought it was staged. I was like, nobody watches award shows anymore. It's such a dying thing. Like, we're all coming to realize how ridiculous it is, the idea of,
Awards
all
for
of these
art.
hyper rich people. Yeah.
Sean had a good idea, though. I thought he's like, Chris Rock should do kind of like Louis C.K. does, like through his website, sell like an hour-long special where he just roasts Will Smith.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I mean, that's what he should have done immediately on the spot, right? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, but and this is why I kind of commend him. He realized where he was in that moment. If that happened in a club, if that happened anywhere else, but he was in the motherfucking belly of the beast. He was in the belly of the Hollywood
yeah, but remember
beast.
when Ricky Gervais was in the belly of the beast and was like, "You're all pedophiles." Like, you can say whatever you want up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Freedom.
you can. You really can. You really can. He should have doubled down.
Should have doubled down.
Well, I mean, Will Smith just sunk his own ship. Well, he didn't really need to do
It's true.
anything.
Chris saw that he needed no help.
Yeah.
That he was going to be the hero of that story.
But from a business perspective, I'm like, okay, how does this help Chris Rock? I'm like, there's an immediate way that he could probably make $10 million.
Oh,
sold out
You guys didn't
immediately.
already hear? Yeah,
No.
his whole tour sold out like all around the world immediately.
Are you fucking kidding
Oh
me?
yeah, no, it's blasted him. Yes.
Oh my God, that's so
Yes.
funny.
This is why I think these things are fake. I'm like,
Yeah,
it benefits both of them, no matter how stupid they act.
Yeah.
And Will Smith's about to be on Oprah for the next 3 months, crying.
Oh damn.
Crying
Damn.
with Jada about his misuses of power or whatever the hell.
He definitely did a bump to the red table conversation too.
Fucking Jesus
we're
Christ.
the gray table conversation.
Yeah.
It is the great table conversation.
Yeah, this is our cauldron.
Wait, what is with this volcano situation? You guys came up with the newest and greatest way to fill up bags, and where is it?
I can't do that on the podcast. But basically, we use a mason jar, a big mason jar, because we're like, look, all this stuff's coming out about microplastics. A study came out today saying that microplastics are like deep in our lungs. They already proved it's in our excrement and in our blood, but now they know it's deep in our lungs. And just smoking out of a bag, a plastic bag, just like, I don't know, Mare pointed it out. Like,
I'm halfway between embracing becoming Barbie and then wanting to MacGyver mason jars to avoid it. You know what I mean? I just live in between those two realities.
But putting a mason jar over this and then quickly capping it and then sipping out of that.
I think that's the way, because I got this other glass vaporizer that for the life of me I can't even figure out where to put the weed in. I don't know if that speaks more about me or the company.
Well, if anyone has it, they should tell you how to use it.
It's the Zenko. Yeah, hit me up.
Yeah, if you know how to, if you know how to use the Zenko vaporizer,
If
hit
Fitch
us
needs
up.
help, hit me up.
Yeah. This is a fucking milky
Engineering
bag.
is my weakest skill set by a long shot. It's my father's as well. I don't know if I've already told you that about my father. He's like the least handy man that's ever been a man.
Well, he doesn't need
He's
to
handy in the air realm, you know.
He doesn't need to do that.
Yeah.
He threatens you with a lawsuit.
My mom all the time is like, my next husband will be handy. Like, what are you talking? My dad can hire any handyman you want, Mama.
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly.
That's the kind of handy one.
First weed of the day.
Yeah, first weed of the
Make me
day.
a little nervous. Oh shit.
Maybe give me a little cushion on this come up, this acid come up.
We set up a puppy cam.
But they're not in the zone.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about how this young blooming love is going to evolve.
Well, on the ride up yesterday, I went and picked up Mare and Mowgli in the city and brought them up here. And Mare, the first thing she tells me is that she's watching Cesar Millan videos.
Oh, you didn't share that?
Speaking of funny shit,
I'm like,
literally.
I'm like, this motherfucker's still at it?
Yes.
And then I'm like literally saying to you, how many bad dogs could there even be?
There's so many mostly bad dogs. Most dogs are bad. It's like people. We're all fucked up. We're fucked up in this plane. It's the planet. You know what I mean? It's Earth.
Were you trying to prepare for this
No, yes, and this is just more proof that your phone is telepathic and is listening to you. Maybe I shouldn't use that language, but it definitely can hear your thoughts, not just what you're talking about. Because I've been thinking about this meeting.
Yeah.
I haven't been typing anything to my phone about it.
We haven't
but
really
he comes
even
up
talked
on my
about
YouTube
it.
feed, and I haven't thought about Cesar Millan since he was on the TV in middle school when I came home from fucking lunch and my mom was watching him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not familiar. He hasn't been in my vortex at all, so it's very fascinating that came up. And I was like, I would like to know how to introduce dogs. Thank you for this video, YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, and so that's how
I got into it. How to introduce 2 dogs.
Wow.
And so I was watching my videos, and then I just got down a little bit of a rabbit hole with like a couple crazy dogs he was working with and getting into the crazy owners. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what's cool that Mayor pointed out that Cesar Millan does is like he has his own stable of dogs that like take one for the team. They will put up with anything, any other. They're there to take shit. Isn't that crazy?
He found the number 1 gimps of all the dogs.
Well, what's fun? Probably even cooler anecdote that I didn't tell you about that is that dog that he was using as like the I'll take it used to be a crazy dog. So he completely turned around a dog to the point that they can like literally take shit from another dog.
That would make me a little nervous.
Caesar's the man.
I wonder if he can do that to people.
I was saying to Sean, I think he's one of the few celebrities that actually is magical. Like he's like actually kind of magical when you watch him. Like
he is.
He doesn't just transform dogs; he transforms humans, and he holds a vibe space. That's what he's doing. It's really cool.
Well, so how much of like these crazy dogs is because they have crazy owners?
100%. 100%. This is the exact conversation Mara and I already had. They're such a reflection of their owner. It's crazy, you know.
Yeah, they're definitely a reflection of the owner. And, of course, trauma can get, hey, Mowgli and Magic, you want to come to the party?
Come down here,
come
guys. Why, don't fight.
As we're talking about.
These fucking doggies.
Yeah.
Well, but it made me think about the way he is with people. I wish that there was a person that could be like that with people. We know so many people that could use a Cesar Millan in their life. Like, hey, stop. That's not how you do it.
Yeah, I guess that's the idea of like life coaches and therapists and stuff.
But there's no way they can be as firm as him.
Yeah.
And a lot of people need that.
Like, there's trauma past an owner that, like, if you rescue a dog and it has trauma, like, it's obviously beyond just the owner, too, that it's working with. But dogs are just like humans, so tapped in, tuned on, you know, and in the moment that whatever vibe you guys are holding, you are a more powerful entity probably in that space of authority. They're probably thinking you're the alpha. They're following that feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so their dog, as the owner, it's like they wanna serve their owner's feeling. And most people think like dogs really are not listening to what we're saying. They're really listening to the emotion behind what you're saying. And that's why the tone of my voice is the only thing I use to control. I just drop, and he's like, okay, Mowgli. I'll listen. Yeah.
It's really adorable to hear Sean try to talk to Mowgli in a.
I'm like, come on, man. I sound like Joe Biden when I'm talking.
I know. He's like, he doesn't respond to Joe. You're gonna have to give him.
Man. Oh, man.
But I informed Sean and Cass about, which they didn't know because they haven't really been dog owners their whole life, is that dogs are gimps. That's their role here on the planet, and they just want to be told what to do. And when they have it gives their life purpose. The only purpose is literally to be told what to do by you. And when you don't give them that, they feel lost in the universe, and they get confused, and they get anxious and have problems. And so, because a lot of times I think you guys get pent up when I'm trying to tell Mowgli what to do in an assertive way, and it's like, he fucking loves it. You have no idea. He fucking loves it.
I feel bad for the little guy sometimes. not when you talk to him, just like, I project human feelings onto him. I'm like, yeah, damn, man, he must be fucking lonely. Then I see he has access to magic, and he's just like, whatever. I don't care. I still serve Mare, first and foremost.
For real.
He literally will just look at her like, what am I supposed to do with this pug running around me? He's just standing by for 2 days,
and he's like moving his head to the side while Magic sniffs him.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, all right. Like, what am I supposed to do? And then Mare just like says, you can play. And he does. You can play. And he ran around over here for a little bit for like, he can only keep up with Magic for like 3 seconds. You know.
Well, I think he too, like, because he can start to get like roughhouse and stuff, and I think he was trying to like dance that territory of like, okay, what is playing with magic? You know?
Yeah.
Playing
I
with
think
magic.
he's really learning. Like, it's just like a running back and forth. You know. No, but he is really cool and sensitive, and that like most of our communication isn't verbal, and he'll just like know. Like when I need him to take a shower, all I do is stand in my bathroom and think about giving Mowgli a shower, and he'll very reluctantly, sadly, depressed walk in. Like, this is what we're doing.
Damn.
You know?
Wow.
So wait.
And he may be sad in the moment, but like I know deep down he's really happy that he's doing what I want him to do.
He wants to be
Do
cleaned
you know
up.
What I mean? Yeah.
So what were the tips for introducing dogs?
neutral territory is probably the biggest one. Like, don't bring another dog into another dog's home as their first introduction.
Is that why you said let's go outside?
Yeah, it is. And then with Magic, because I know Magic, I wasn't necessarily specifically worried about Magic being territorial as a dog. But yeah, neutral territory is the best. Outside, like open space is obviously the best too, where they can see sky, and then both on a leash. And then once you get the leash down and it seems like they both like each other, which you'll figure out within like, very quick first 15 seconds or something. Are they wagging their tails? Are they frozen in anxiety? Are they growling? And then you can let them off leash in an indoor area and see how they do together. And then it says like over the next few weeks, like don't leave them alone together. Just keep working it out. And then like, it takes about at most a month for two dogs living in the same home to like totally work out their roles together and be okay with each other or whatever.
I'm jealous of them in a way.
Yeah, but of course they're just like humans. They're all different consciousness. Like you can get two dogs together who are going to be like soulmates for the rest of their lives, and then you can get two dogs together that love every other dog in the world but just happen to not like each other's personalities.
But I this is why I'm jealous of them. I feel like they just have a few crude senses, and that's that. They need to smell each other's asshole. They need to growl a little at each other. And then, like, the rest of their destiny is just going to play out right there. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's...
With humans, it's just, like, so much is fucking going on. Don't you wish we could just go in and smell each other's asshole?
I was going to say, I feel like it's kind
of...
You could reduce it down to we just smell each other's assholes. That's all that life is.
I could get down with that.
Couldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No?
Whose asshole do I need to smell? I don't know.
I think you're already smelling everyone's asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you get it?
I do, but Cass, we've been struggling a lot lately with Cass's very literal interpretation of things.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're cracking the veil open.
She's like, but I don't understand who and what. Because she wants to go full pervert right now.
Yeah.
But like...
Yeah.
She's like, wait, who is this applied to?
Well, is it like them dishing out shit, like
it's
their
just,
worst side? Is that like your bad, like offering your
no,
bad side?
I honestly
I just see asshole as like a beautiful metaphor for like what you're letting out into the world,
Your vibe. There's no hiding that.
You ingest the world, you breathe it in, and then what do you poop out?
Yeah, exactly.
What's
going on inside of you?
We're just smelling that lining that poops it out all the time when we're around each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Your approach to giving the world. You get it.
But like I was when I watched these two meet, I was like, we all do that in a way, but it's fucking takes forever. Like I'm like, how the hell have I become friends with anyone? I was really trying to think about that. Like, how do you become friends with somebody? Like, when does it happen? Like,
for me, it takes a split second.
Whether you're friends with somebody.
Yeah, I probably knew before we met, and then we meet, and I'm like, oh god, damn it.
Yeah.
All right, we have stuff to do, I guess.
Yeah, we have a new friend here.
Yeah, and I think part of that is just like intuition and maybe telepathic stuff or whatever. But I think a lot of it is pheromones, just like the dogs, very primordial,
Yeah.
You smell each other's scents and things you didn't even realize about each other that you like or don't like. Or,
sense something you need in your life you never knew you needed before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a genetic code that's absent in your own or something, Yeah.
I want to talk about manifesting.
You do?
Yeah. Well, I just thought of it because I think, you're kind of saying it like through you're telepathic with your dog, and there's other ways like we kind of like dance around that, but manifestation and I thought of it because you both said playing with magic, and I was like, yeah, playing with magic.
Oh yeah.
When we're trying to manifest things, and for us it's like it's films and songs.
Yeah, no, and I think really just this past week too with this transit, I'm going to blame it on the stars as I always do. Feels like it's been easier to tap into the heavens of excitement of the things that we're trying to manifest, just like you talk about all the time, like instead of waiting for that thing to come, like the excitement of it already being here and the excitement of even getting to be on the journey to eventually get it.
Yeah.
And tapping into those things is actually like the main thing that's going to align you into them, because worry is so convincing of a drug or of a voice or of a spirit.
Yeah.
In manifestation, to think like, okay, well, if you really want this thing, then you're going to have to get real serious about it. And then you're going to have to like pin down and then,
Cass and I are prone towards that.
And then it drops you into a lower frequency that's always going to keep you away from that high frequency thing that you want.
Wow.
Worry about getting it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, we build our own fortress.
Yeah.
And protect it from the magic.
Yeah, and I think weed helps me manifest. Like I think weed is an aligner. It's like a very aligned spirit, and when you smoke weed, it's trying to align you, kind of like mushrooms, and that's why people, when they smoke weed, sometimes get uncomfortable because I think parts of themselves are trying to come together. They want to keep separate, compartmentalized. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it gives me all the ideas.
Yeah.
Sometimes I really like, for me, smoking weed or doing an edible experience, like not doing it every day, all day, really helps me because I need to integrate these visions I have.
Definitely.
And I have like very wild downloads on edibles. And if I get in a pattern of doing edibles every night, the visions and the downloads aren't as potent. You know, it's more of just a high.
Yeah.
But if I'm like more ceremonial about it and like, all right, I'm about to get really high, like I can plan not plan, but kind of bring in the energy that I'm going to need to get me through a couple months, a couple years, a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Could plan the rest of our life on an edible trip.
Yeah.
Like, it really opens up. It really fucking parts the seas for Cass.
It goes so fast, though, that, like, if I'm not careful and if I'm not in a good setting, like, I can end up worrying about every goddamn thing that there is to worry about. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people is, like, we talk a lot about creativity just being like anxiety misdirected. So it's
anxiety is creativity misdirected.
That's what I meant to say.
I think that's what she said. But yeah, it's
rewind.
It's literally exactly what it is. It's literally exactly what it is. And
I think weed. I think the reason that like we could smoke a joint and be fine, and someone else could smoke that same joint with us and be lost, is because I don't think weed is necessarily concerned about the circumstances of your life and that you're living in 2022 capitalism. Like, I don't think it's concerned about all that stuff. It's concerned about your spirit, and it's a much higher level thing. So I think if you're down here very concerned with all this shit and you ingest this spirit that's like really just that's why they call it being high. You're going very high with this thing, very high level. It's not concerned that you got to pay your bills. It's not concerned that you have to come up with, you know, the thing to do the thing. Like, you know what I mean? It's concerned with your spirit's creative potential, I think.
Absolutely. And I think anything that doesn't align you to capitalism in this time can so easily get demonized in our minds and put into the negative basket, you know. But yeah, somebody was just talking about like weed and putting it with the word addiction in the same sentence, and
yeah, we've seen that a lot.
Themology and stuff, and I wish we could take addiction and drugs and separate them as issues, because they really are separate issues and entities and spirits, like not even in between the drugs that we're talking about, just like the issue of addiction and drugs. Yeah, you know what I mean. Just because I went in a little bit of an abusive codependent moment myself this week with nicotine.
Damn, I feel bad because we introduced you to that shit.
It's like
I
was over there like, God,
we introduced you to.
Damn it, Sean.
You got mad at him?
No, I didn't.
Well, I mean, how can you not?
No. Like, for me, it was realizing, because it wasn't just realizing, like, oh, I'm not just treating this one thing in my life abusively, and this is probably true for most people. The way that I was relating to that was the way that I was relating to everything around me in that moment in time. So everything around me I was codependent with. I was emotionally dependent on, you know? And just running that story of, like, okay, once I get this thing, I'll feel better.
As above, so below.
Something like that, sure. Always.
Wow. And do you think it's like nicotine's spirit in particular is what allowed you to even, like, because, like, I say it's like a jealous, attention-seeking little bitch of a spirit.
Yes.
And it helps point out. She's horny as hell, and she wants you fucking and sucking 24/7, and you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. I felt my frequency lower, and I can feel that most sensitively in conjunction with singing. So if I'm singing, I notice anything that throws me off in any direction.
And previously, Hape hadn't done that for really. It hadn't affected your singing because you just do it.
It had only affected me on a breathing level of like, oh, I have less breath, which is not good. So I wouldn't do it before singing. But it didn't affect me on a level of like, oh, this, if I do it today, is going to lower my frequency tomorrow. And for singing, my frequency is required to be super high. Mm. Yeah. It's as small as that. It's the same thing why I'm paranoid about kratom and stuff too. Just anything that throws me off of anything that's giving away my emotional intelligence or like my choice to be happy or whatever. giving away your power. I guess that's
Yeah.
what we're all going to be working through during this time.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it was like really important for me to go through this like little nicotine thing this week, because it then, once I focused on that, was like, oh, then this in the relationship, then this in this part of my job,
Yeah.
then
yeah.
came to the rest of my life about, oh fuck yeah, I can just like be as happy as I want right now without anybody
You
and
can
anything.
manifest
And then it
the
like
mood you
totally
want.
yeah, it like totally made my mood independent again, which then makes me such a more fruitful lover, relationship, friend, whatever.
Dude, I don't know
Artist.
if I should be left to my own devices, though, because I swear to God, like, I woke up this morning, I was like, I cannot wake up. And Kratom just turns it all around, and I'm just so happy and so capable, and everything's flowing. But honestly, I feel like if I didn't do it, like, I'd probably just, I don't
Just
know.
not have as good of a day.
It's
I need better tools, I guess.
No. I think the spirits that you want to commune with are like, that's fucking rad and really important. And
Mhm.
like, if you have that relationship with it, you should keep that relationship with it. You know what I
think
mean?
about the gods Cass serves every day compared to the gods you have
No,
to
I was
serve.
just gonna
It's a whole
say
different-
it's literally just that. It's
Mhm.
literally just that, because I am playing a game of nervous system sensitivity, and Kratom shuts down my nervous system sensitivity. But for you, that's like optimal for what you're doing. You need to not be nervous. You need to not be like sensitive necessarily and into people's emotions on the phone,
Yeah.
or whatever.
And Cascade takes Kratom to get shit done.
Yeah.
I
take it. I feel like
enjoy
I'm
the
on
high.
heroin, and I'm like, this is inappropriate.
Yeah. Mare and I do such a similar dance with all these things. It's crazy. But I do the same thing. When I'm in on something, I'm all in on it. I'm not questioning it because it is in alignment with who I am then.
Yeah.
But if I get in my head even the fucking tiniest little pixel of is this fucking my frequency up for the other shit that I love so much?
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's easy once I figure that out. And that was why it was so hard for caffeine for me in my life for so long, is because it's hard to get to the other side of thinking that it's helping my frequency, because it raises your frequency immediately, but then it drops it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like such an illusion to get past, right? Because you're like, it does raise my frequency.
I think
I am more
You
focused.
get a taste of it for a second. You have basically what the acid gives us all day. Caffeine will give you that for that little.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think
So
you needed us
fleeting.
to come into your life to be like just more potent reflections of like, because when you
Oh,
go
really?
high and then low, like when you're doing that on your own, you just think that's kind of you. But when other people are like, dude, you're fucking damn.
You're on one, yo.
And I don't even have to be saying anything. I'm just like in another room feeling something, and you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Why
It's
are you
too
feeling
much.
That? It's too much.
We need to
And
calm it down.
And I get it, and that's so much of like, feels like so much of my life. I have to rein in my emotions for other people, and that's good.
Being in a relationship with Mare when she was on coffee was a spiritual journey for me. Because I never really thought about it. And I never really thought about, even though I'm not a coffee drinker, what coffee's done to my life and why I react to coffee the way Cass reacts to alcohol.
I know.
It scares me.
Yeah.
When people are getting jacked up on that level, I get like, I'm like spooked.
Yeah.
There's people you can't even tell they're on coffee. We watched Rick Rubin in a podcast, and he's drinking coffee, and it blew both of our minds. That
Yeah.
Rick Rubin is on coffee.
Yeah. I mean, I can be chill and drink coffee too.
Yeah,
But
no, I know.
It's but that's the thing too. If you had it maybe once every couple months, it's a different conversation than when you get into it on a train with it, where like it's not getting you high anymore, it's bringing you to a semblance of regularity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is most people's relationship with most things that they.
It would be great to have a once every few months relationship with nicotine or caffeine.
Yeah, you just have a psychedelic coffee because it's psychedelic. Your
That's
whole day
pretty much
goes
what
on a
I do.
fucking crazy ride.
Yeah, you're a different breed. Like Mare and I are like, I don't know. When I'm doing something, I'm like, I like this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Like it feels like now we're going into our season of acid. You know what I mean? The sun's out. We're like, let's take some fucking acid. And then like I'm like, okay, cool. Let's work with this spirit for a while. Let's see how it goes. You know what I mean?
No, I'm all with communing with spirits, and I really believe that like all the magic in the universe is made between two spirits coming together and making stuff. So like I don't like the idea of total sobriety because it doesn't seem in alignment with what moving through the multiverse means. But at the same time, like, yeah, I definitely don't want anything fucking up balance or alignment or being or really being as sensitive as I possibly can be, which has really become my priority in life and my art and all the things that I'm doing. And that was what made coffee, like, the last thing so easy for me, is when I finally just took in the language of, like, it's making my nervous system less sensitive, which is making me a bad performer because I'm less aware of people in the room. I'm less aware of, like, more sensitive, nuanced things or whatever. And then if I can get it in that language, then it's easy for me because that's a priority in my life.
Yeah. People want to blame men for the patriarchy. And it's like, yo, you should blame these spirits that are masculine spirits that come in through chemicals that, like, have taken over the game. Adderall and coffee. Cocaine.
Well, it's hard to say which way that conversation goes, if it's like that or if it's like those drugs are popular because they let you serve the system that exists that's more powerful than you. Because that's, like, why I think, it's if our society valued femininity and intuition and, like, telepathy and all of these things that required you to be as slow as possible, like, do you think coffee would be the most important drug? No. Like, people want to be good in this and with their surroundings, like,
that's
within
true.
the environment that they're in, you know.
They just want to do good.
They all just want to do good within the system, and the system of power is telling you to be as productive and as fast as possible at all times. And you know, it's you know,
God damn. You know, you never even hear about coffee as something people quit. Nicotine all the time. Like, people understand, like, I can't do this. Coffee, it's not even part of that conversation.
No, and with health, I think it's one of the, like, biggest things for a lot of people that causes them health problems that they don't think about when they get sick, because the doctor, that's not the thing that gets brought up, is what are you eating, what are you putting in your body.
No.
Just, like, the only thing that really matters.
I know.
What are you thinking about? What are you putting in your body?
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you interacting with the world around you, you know?
Well, you're becoming the things you consume. You are what you eat.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
You're becoming those things.
Absolutely.
I'm a little potato.
You are.
Oh, man.
Irish roses.
Yeah. I'm a wild Irish rose.
Yeah.
My wild Irish spirit comes out when I take acid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out of control.
I know. I can't wait for acid season. This is the best season.
Yeah,
Fucking
it is.
Yes.
But we need sun for it. It's not like meant to be done in confined spaces. You need to see
totally.
the sky.
Open spaces, seeing the sky is vital and important. But yeah, I did this little dance, and you can dance with anything in a negative way, right? Mm-hmm. And weed's great. I just wanted to say that as a PSA.
I can I add to that?
Yes.
And this is just one man's opinion. Like, honestly, hold your own opinion. But
hold your own.
When I first started smoking weed, it saved my life. And it turned everything around. And I was still carrying a lot of guilt because I grew up with parents who demonized it because their parents demonized it. And no one smoked pot.
Yeah.
And we were just high-strung coffee household.
Yeah.
And weed saved my life, and it saved my life so many times that I stopped otherizing it. And it's just like a family member now, and I respect it like such, and I think that we shouldn't be, in this incarnation as humans, be beyond making plant alliances, you know? This plant's as old as us. We've evolved with cannabis. Yeah. That's both of our species are approximately like the same amount of time on this earth. So we're on a journey together.
Yeah.
And she loves us.
Yeah.
She loves me because I'm willing to do something about it.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't hit me with paranoia and anxiety because the gift of taking me to a higher place, she gets to see in my living actions.
Yeah.
I do something about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's why weed works for me.
Yeah.
And I would never doubt it. I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
She calls me and I come to her.
Absolutely. Yeah, and everybody's going to have a different relationship with her. Some people will be very few and far between. And probably some of it's just astrological too. Like, what's your sense of responsibility like in your chart? Is that like super righteous, you know?
Can you use me as an example?
I mean, yeah, we both have like well-placed Saturns, I think.
Like, this ain't gonna fucking throw us off our Saturn shit.
It's not gonna get you
just a metronome.
Yeah, it's
I'm not fucking just keep hammering you with the art.
Yeah, it's not gonna get you to stop doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Hell
you know,
no.
if you had a really weak sense of responsibility and stuff, and you already had all these like Neptunian influences in your chart, and the boundaries between you and other realities are already super thin and stuff. Like, I could see having a more few and far between relationship with it or whatever, but it also will change in your life. And I think that's the number one thing is I just keep getting pounded into with any downloads, any synchronicities. It's like, there is no system of success. Like, there is no pattern that will make you happy or do good. It is only the approach, and it is only being good. It is only learning how to be good at improvising. And then it's like, and anything opens up in your life, and everything opens up, you know, and any situations becomes something that you can enjoy or master or get whatever the fuck you want out of. But like any system, like anything set in stone is going to be limited, because the moment after that, time is different and truth is different and relationships are different and the God's relationships to each other are different, you know? Yeah. So I just like, I think everything in my life has brought me to like improvise. That's the only thing that it's about.
Yeah. If you don't, you could get left behind. I mean, this sounds really dark, but that's kind of how it felt to me, especially like we were talking shit on nitrous the other day, but I was having a moment or reflecting on kind of what did I get from that drug? Because I obviously had epiphanies, even if I couldn't for the most part remember them. But I think that the biggest download I probably got from nitrous is like to like keep up the good time. Yeah. Because like we're in this multiverse and you're improvising. Yes. And if you keep choosing the fun times, you're going to have a fun life. Yeah. And if you show up to a fun time and say no to the fun time, you start going on this other trajectory. Even
once you're on the other path now.
I mean, don't be scared about the serious decisions you've made in the past, but it's like every moment's a new opportunity to like make it lighter and choose that, because this is a giant cosmic joke and you can be in on it. And it doesn't mean you have to understand, like, I'm fucking slow as hell. I am literal and whatever. I might not be the best person to be in on the joke, but like,
no, you're in on it.
But I'm laughing along, you know what I mean? And so if you kind of like, I think we've spent time with people who like feel like they're behind on something or not getting something. There's some bigger cosmic joke that they couldn't possibly understand.
Oh man, that's great. It's such a weird feeling too, being around somebody that's like just kind of a little behind the eight ball.
But you're not. Like,
no, it's such an illusion. It's just like you just want to go. You want to be Cesar Millan to them.
Yeah, but stop. It's believing in stupid systems of success, you know, that you have to be a certain age. That there's like a formula for anything. It's like it literally is just your approach to improvisation or whatever.
That being said, I wouldn't be the motherfucker I am if I hadn't proven to myself I can make a bunch of money. I can get famous. I can be known for my thing. I can get like I had to do all the things.
Yeah, but you were only good at that because you were good at improvising while getting to those things. You know what I mean? It wasn't. Yeah, it really is just an approach thing. Like the more that I work on art in my life, the more that I realize that too, and just study the artists that I love. Like it yes, it's what they're saying. Yeah, yes, it's the music, but like it really is mostly the approach. Mostly the approach.
Yeah.
What you're getting out of it. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter.
Keep it loose.
Because it's the final result will speak to your heart or it won't. Yeah. But you're like giving a peek behind the curtain. It's like ultimately why we bow at the altar of John Prine is because of his approach to life. You know?
Yeah, really. Well, that's what you're getting through the songwriting. Yeah. It's like you can have the same lyrics with the same melody sung by two different vocalists, and depending on what they're psychically going through and emotionally, you'll get different songs.
Well, Leonard Cohen's version of Hallelujah, and then the one Jeff Buckley did, and then it became famous.
Yeah.
You listen to Leonard Cohen's, and you're like, he was not coming from the same place Jeff Buckley. Those are completely different songs.
But then you think about just, like, causing a bunch of limitations so you can create a song, too. Like, okay, it's a song that has to be in a coffee shop, and it has to be about, like, a forgotten love or abandonment. There's still, like, a trillion, million, cajillion different ways to approach that.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to express itself in, like... I don't know. I just, like, the nuance of that has become more and more apparent to me in my life. And the importance of letting go of traditions and systems that people before me previously worked for them. And just, like, being like, well, it's probably not going to work for me. Not investing in that anymore.
Yeah.
And just investing in being a better approach, more mastered approach, more present approach.
Yeah.
You know, more loving approach, more soft approach, more sensitive approach. Because then the rest of it just comes out like that.
Yeah.
That's your art.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're mostly self-concerned. Like, you can respect John Prine, but you can also, like, participate in the destruction of the hierarchy that says, oh, I'm not as good as this person or as this thing. It's like...
Any of these artists would be the first to tell you that.
It's like, why are you worrying about that? Like, where you're at as compared to other people. You just got to do the best with what you got, you know?
We were watching Matt and Shane's podcast the other day, and Cass says, I give up. I don't even want to do podcasting. These guys are so funny. I get, like, we shouldn't even do this.
And then
It's true,
That's
but
true, but it's all good. Like,
it's
but
just
I
mad
wouldn't.
props.
Yeah, mad props. But like, I also think that I don't know. I kind of want to like deconstruct where the fear comes in, or the anxiety, or any of these things that hold us back.
Yeah, there's no wrong answer in art or asserting yourself out in the universe, because like whatever villain you are to somebody, you'll eventually be their angel. It's just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh yeah.
We've all experienced that in our lives.
Oh my god.
And I mean, it's been my saving grace to realize all the times at which I thought of myself as a villain that have come around. Like, oh, it was important for me to be abrasive in that person's life in that time. Like, it was actually helpful for
That's
them.
so
And the people that were abrasive in my
that's
life,
good.
like, were the most helpful people, the
Damn.
people that I remember.
That's good. That's some high level forgiveness shit.
Oh, yeah.
Ours is the opposite. We start as the angel, then turn into the devil.
And I hate it. I hate it when someone comes towards us holding us in any kind of high regard. I'm like, damn, it's gonna be a fucking weird ride down. I love the other thing. It's like if I'm the fucking demon in the dark in someone's life, I'm like, all right, strap in, we're going up.
Oh my god.
I love when
Yeah.
someone hates our movies.
Yeah.
I'm almost jealous of them. That sounds so deranged, but like, I'm like, oh man, to watch something and feel that sense of a thing where you're expressing it to the artist, like, fuck you. It's, first of all, I know I got my hooks in you.
Yeah.
And you don't even know it.
Yeah.
You don't even know it, but I'm almost
Yeah.
jealous of like that level of a fucking visceral reaction, and I'm glad I caused it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's like, that really is the key to fucking escaping dualism and self-acceptance and forgiveness and enjoying life, is understanding that, like, yes, on a level, there is good and bad. It's crazy to say that there's not, because there is, but that then plays out into its own all goodness all of the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're coming to realize that,
You're both.
that weed brings you to.
Yeah.
That understanding. Yes. Yeah. It's hard to not get caught up in the righteous plane of good and bad with three-dimensional reality.
Well, I mean, especially
You wanna
when
be good, do
like
good.
every movie, every TV show, our news narratives, our sports narratives, they're all in that dichotomy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. Worry machines.
Yeah.
Don't feel good.
Well, it's why we're sick. You know?
Yeah. We are and we're not, though. We just think we're sick. We're under this
Ooh,
crazy spell from the powers that be that keep telling us we're sick. And because we're sick, we need to prescribe and subscribe. And
Yeah.
You need to pay for something to fix you, that's for sure.
absolutely. You need to go, yeah, no, it's... and we believe it, and therefore we get sick. And then we do have codependent relationships with these powers that be. And all of these things play out. I mean, it's taken me fucking 29 years to realize all the ways at which I'm not sick. You know?
It's a crazy thing.
Even after everybody around me being like, nah, I really think you are. I just held it down like, nope.
No, I'm just out of alignment with the way that
With
things
the way
are going.
you guys are.
Yes,
And
exactly.
the way that the fucking universe is right now.
Well,
You'll
and-
get it.
And that's a
it's
great...
It's honestly my vibe with people when I meet them. I'm like, I know you'll get it eventually.
Well, in our families, I think
Yeah.
you and I have both played the same role. Like,
Yeah.
you're the what the fuck person. And if you're not already, you will become everyone's favorite. I guarantee you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I went through it, and I felt so bad for myself. And Cass would have to hear the woe is me, my family doesn't like me story.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, just keep being you. And
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, man, I love that I have a freak of a cousin.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that my fucking, that like he's just some fucking wild boy who doesn't work and like tries to just fucking get, come up with schemes and make art and like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like the shit that they hated about me now is like kind of like the example in their life, the talisman for like wild fun times. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's what I want to be,
Hell yeah. Yeah. It's really important to inhabit the outskirts. That's really
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
All of our favorite musicians were doing that, and they were those people of those times. And my favorite filmmakers, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. We're voices for the outskirts, you
Yeah.
know?
No, absolutely. It feels like my number one sense of responsibility, exploring the outskirts of this multiverse. Make sure we got the edges tightened up.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
You're playing your part perfectly.
Yeah.
I think so.
Fucking
Like when I
wow.
take acid, it does feel like I'm fulfilling my destiny. Really any drug on a kind of sick level that I think.
It's such a win.
Like,
because we've been enslaved so hard, and we've been enslaved and indoctrinated to think that your enslavement is a gift and a privilege, and you fucking, you know what I mean? To take days of your life and say, I'm taking it all back.
Oh yeah.
Bloop.
Oh yeah.
Is a win every time.
Oh yeah.
Every fucking time.
Yeah.
Carve out the time in your life, or don't even carve out the time in your life. Take the fucking acid. It will carve out the time in your life. It will begin to carve out the time in your life.
Yeah.
When you honor those spirits.
Yeah.
This is a new spirit.
Yeah.
That was birthed in the 1940s.
Yeah.
You know, it's still on the come up.
Yeah.
It's still figuring out who its allies are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And these things are only going to bring you into more alignment too. Like, I think you can get hyper paranoid that like you commune with these spirits and they're going to make you so hyper feminine or so hyper receptive that it's going to not make you want to be an engineer or something a little bit more what seems like systematic.
It's going to make you want to quit your job.
Right-brained or whatever. And it's so not true. Like, you know, if math is the way that your brain likes to think, like,
you'll be better
weed
at
will
it.
make you more mathy. You know, it's not going to take that personality trait away from you. There are drugs that seem to distort people's personalities and stuff that take them out of their. I feel like it's got to be like it has to take you out of your own body at first to even do that, because it's got to take you off your own senses, you know. But I do think we have lots of prescription drugs that do that to people.
I have no idea what prescription drugs do to people. Like,
yeah,
I can speak to psychedelics all day and all night.
Okay, well, I took prescription drugs for most of high school. Like, they gave me, you know, anything and everything. Prozac, you know, like mood stabilizers. I mean, they put me on Ambien when I was like 14. You know, I think when I got to the States, we got like all the goods, maybe 15. But yeah, and the only thing that I can remember, they never worked. Like, they never made me feel happy or necessarily more stable, but they did make me feel more out of it and more like a zombie. And I know that's the general story that you hear from people, so it's kind of cliche, but it's true. Yeah. I'm just like a little bit less there.
Yeah.
Because, and again, it's that requires you totally taking off my nervous system, you know, and like cutting that connection off to my brain to even have me who I am with my body and my pattern to be functioning on a level where I'm like not connected to the things around me and don't care about what's happening. You know, I'm not really a backseat driver as much as I'd like to be.
Well, those drugs, they're extreme things that are meant for extreme cases like you. To chop off the highs and chop off the lows and get you back into the workforce. Like, that's why they exist.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything to serve your spirit.
Yeah.
They're quashing it out. It's like, it's almost like you're signing up for another pass through because you took, you know.
No,
like that's what I think of sometimes.
That's exactly how it feels with these pills. It's like pausing time.
Yeah. It sucks because our system requires it of us. Like, I know that my dad can't get by with some, like, he's much better off for whatever the fuck they got him on right now.
Yeah.
Wellbutrin.
Wellbutrin has helped my dad a lot. Nothing else ever has. Nothing else ever has. This seems to help him.
Yeah.
So God bless it. But is there a part of me that thinks his soul could use an in and through raw dog it, you know?
Of course. Well, and
smoke weed and take mushrooms and examine and go through your life, you know?
They're only as effective as like 30%, which is the same as placebo effect. So it's questionable if they do have an effect.
What's crazy is they turn off the effects of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Isn't that it's a little ironic?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm always going to be a very radical voice in that realm, but
absolutely.
I'm justified in my radicalness because I did it. I took the drugs. Like, I am the person. I was you. I am you.
Well, we had that surreal trip up to Maine that one time. Remember? And we're on some micros and fucking flying high, and your mom had some friends come over, and one of them was just like latched on to Mare, like, I see that you've dealt with the darkness. You're like, I've been there. Like, she was talking about depression overtaking her life, and Mare was just real tasteful.
I'm like, Mare
about
seems
it.
so happy. What are you seeing? And I'm like, I don't know.
But then Mare was like, yeah, I've been there, and here's how I've dealt with it, and that brought in psychedelics into the conversation, which introduced us to give it to. We just gave it to her right then and there. She took it right away, and the next day was like, thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not quashing off anything. It's allowing more in. It's like, okay, let's go through this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it about microdoses that works so well? For like all things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's pretty sure mushrooms are what made me quitting an eating disorder. What like pushed the last of that out too.
They've said that about microdoses.
Yeah, connected the different parts of myself that like couldn't quite come together. 'Cause yeah, I do like I do get to the highest places of anybody that I know, and I am like the happiest motherfucker of anybody I know when I'm doing good. But people should know, yeah, I've been the most depressed motherfucker ever. And I spent 10 years of my life only thinking about food and how to throw up food and how to be as small as possible in a room. That was how most of my life has been spent.
Damn, man.
You know? And so it does feel like I can speak to it because I've been there for a long time and it took a long time to get out, but it wasn't any prescription drug that got me out of it. And it's crazy because I want to say it was mushrooms, but the craziest thing about it is I think it was just time. It was just like the shape of time, and my pattern in time is it felt like a literal clock hand in 2013 just like switched, and that spirit left my body and I stopped thinking about it.
Wow.
It went from 90% of my day to none. You know, and that's pretty
Yeah,
inexplainable.
You really just went through it for so long that it was just like that narrative has played out.
I don't know, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
That must suck. Like, I mean, I haven't thought about it too much with, like, extreme eating disorders, but I just think about it with people who count calories every day. I'm like, damn, that's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
A lot to be focusing on what you consume and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a sad, like, my dad and I remember having this conversation maybe 4 years ago and him being like, I honestly didn't know how smart you were because I was malnourished for like, you know, most of my childhood and teen years. So you were
probably cranky and barely talking or...
Yeah, I was very quiet.
Just clouded.
Yeah, no, I like completely malnourished. And once I started eating and realizing how smart I was and creative I was, you know, and then I became a tattooer and doing all the things that I do, like it just felt like, wow, I wasted so much time in this body just focusing on like possessed, you know, literally possessed.
That was your cross to bear, and you did it gracefully, and like Jesus, you rose again, and you are living your life.
Yeah,
and we all have that, you know, and you probably have assumed a new cross and many new crosses since then.
Yeah. I think it's like the same pattern playing out, high frequency or low frequency. And that is my pattern playing out on the lowest frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the same applies to me. And we tangle. You know what I mean? Because we do such a similar dance, and when we're doing it in lockstep, it's like the most probably beautiful fucking thing you could imagine, you know? But when it gets a little out of step and like one of us is occupying the low and the other one's in the high, it's like we're incommunicado. You know what I mean? It's like it's like messages can't be sent and they can't be received. But now we've been doing this dance for so long that it's just like you just gotta trust. It's just like we just gotta step for a second. We're still dancing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there are highs and lows of life.
I think we've gone too long without taking Molly.
Yeah, I think we've gone too long without taking
This
Molly.
This is a 3-person relationship that, you know, it started on Molly in a lot of ways, and it's a spirit that guides us because it brings us such joy. We don't take it all the time. We take it once every 3 months, and now it's been like 5 months.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need it. I could never have it again in my life.
Me too.
And I love you, and I feel great in this relationship. So.
Me too. But the amount of time we spend together and whatever, like, there's a lot that's just like, and that like I feel like a Molly evening together will just like help us integrate shit we don't realize we're not integrating. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
We don't have access to it. You know, like I can go without Molly too, but we don't have access, I think, to some of the things that just need to be like. You know?
Once you realize that Molly's a tool for couples therapy, thruples therapy, whatever it may be, you're just like, wow, this is very valuable. You know, like
Well, you don't take it for granted anymore, and we're like, we don't want to throw away our once every 3 month thing. You know?
Yeah.
Frivolously.
Yeah, and there are ways that you can bring in tapping into a super open heart center. I think a lot of it requires tapping into your emotion.
Yeah.
It's like really dropping into how you feel.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking me about that on the Discord, like how to bring in more of the water element in their life because their chart is very, very earthy and airy.
So how
and
do
as a
you?
hyper watery person, I was thinking about that over the past few days, how to answer them, because I'm such a watery person that it's for me, it's just been how do I bear these oceans and these storms and channel them productively, not like how do I reach water? I'm soaked all the time in every realm,
You definitely have no problem with water.
Like I am water. I'm water baby problems. It's like, it
Drenched.
should be the name of every album that comes out by me. No, but seriously, I think it takes vulnerability. I think that's been part of the abrasiveness of me and other people in my life is like not everybody is tapped into water like I am and their emotions, and it's been so demonized. The feminine has been so demonized that it makes them uncomfortable. But it's kind of been part of me keeping my own sanity and keeping this philosophy and like, no, emotions are good and they're actually your only tool in this multiverse. That's the only thing you have for navigating is how do you feel right now. That's all you have.
Yeah, and we give it away.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
We dull it down and we give
Yeah.
it away, but like,
So
dropping into that,
yeah,
that's a good practice.
yeah, and like that's all that Molly's doing is it's just dropping you deeper into a heart space that's open and, yeah.
I'm all supportive of people finding balance, of course, within themselves, but I think that releasing any judgment of what you're not is like very valuable because that's where the community comes in and that's where your connections and your relationships will carry the weight, so it may be as simple as also just like a lot of connecting with people who maybe do have more water in your chart, because I think we're so connected that it's like I feel like I get so balanced through you guys because and the stuff and the people and the music I like and that sort of stuff, because there's a lot of fire in that and I might not have it myself, but like
Totally.
through my relationship with you guys or the music that I listen to, I can find that balance, because I'm balancing more than my internal body. I'm balancing my auric body, and my auric body is a lot more susceptible or responsive or affected by like all these other.
Definitely. So I was like, other than being in water, because that's probably good for water, right? Like you get into a hot tub or a bath.
Yeah.
I think that's why writing music is easier in the shower. Yeah.
You're in the flow.
You're in the flow.
All your
know what I mean?
impurities washing down the drain.
Yeah, you're getting baptized.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's hard for me to speak to anything other than the practices that I keep with like dancing and singing and stuff, because I think those things also bring you into your heart space and your emotions. But do you guys have any other things that
Church of Chill.
water? Yeah.
Oh well,
music,
that's a practice that keeps me in just like being a more sensitive, emotional boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, listening to that many songs.
Open listening ears,
Oh,
non-judgmental
yes,
ears.
yeah.
Just listening.
Like, I don't care.
That's a practice that not many people do.
It's crazy because we have the Library of Alexandria of music at our fingertips.
Yeah.
I can't believe that other people, not way more people, have taken on the task of like, I'm gonna play Spotify like a video game. I'm gonna try to beat this thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find everything that's good on here and stash it away. And sorry if the algorithms are listening or whatever, but the Church of Chill is about taking that shit back. I pay Spotify and they pay their fucking people's shit. And so we take those songs, basically they're offline for the community forever. Like those playlists will those radio shows will always be available in like an MP3 form or whatever. But that's what I use to just keep
music
open
should
ears.
just be free for everyone everywhere.
Yeah.
We need universal basic income.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's coming. We're already kind of like we're living it in a way, and like in the way that artists take care of each other, and the more we go through our journey of like financial struggle and shit, you just see like, oh, you're held up by the community that you serve and are ambassador for your whole life of being an artist. Like there's people out there that they just make sure you're taken care of, and it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many artists struggling out there, and that will continue to struggle. Yeah. And luckily, it's becoming more in vogue to support artists. So, like, rich people are more open to doing grants and things like that. But it is an overwhelming thing to approach making art in this capitalist system, because really it requires you to not make money. And that's why I feel so inspired too to like anybody that I get around that like, because everybody's an artist. Like I meet everybody and they're an artist, and if you don't have a creative voice, like I'm going to push you to have one, because I know it's just the systems around you that are oppressing you not to have one, because naturally like we all have a creative voice, and it doesn't just need to be in the form of music or visual arts or the specific genre like that. It could be in the artful way that you hit a tennis ball across the court, or write your, what's like a lawyer stance? What do they write before they go to court? I should know. Something like that. Speech document.
Oh, yeah, they write a little speech and then they go in the courtroom. Yeah. Isn't that what your dad does? He writes a little speech. He goes up there.
He's not a courtroom lawyer. He's a document. He just writes like 1,000-page documents that look like gibberish that make you be like, humans talk like, I don't know.
It hurts my brain. Like, I have to be the lawyer in our business, and I like read these documents. I'm like, damn, this is not fun.
If any of our clients are listening to this, it's not true. We just say that to be cool. We send it to a real lawyer.
We're deep enough in this thing.
No, yeah, Cass is, we've been able to save a good amount of money by Cass just being like, fuck it, I'm just going to thoroughly go through this document right now, and anything that stands out to me, I'll bring up, and she just comes over to me.
The thing is, you really do. You think like, oh, they're good people, we're good people, it's going to be fine.
They'll try to fuck you every time.
You get fucked every fucking time.
If they want a contract, they're trying to fuck you.
You really got to go through that and be like, can I live with this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I will have to. You think this line will never affect you?
It
you will have to live with this line.
Yeah.
And you have to come to this place of peace about it.
Yeah, so there's art in that. There may be a lot of conniving art. It may be some scoundrel art. Mowgli.
Come on, baby.
What are you guys getting into over here?
There's a rooster.
There's a rooster that won't shut the fuck up.
Do you guys hear that? It's crazy. What time
I
of
thought
day
it was
is
a
it?
peacock at first. I wasn't sure what was happening.
You are high. That shit look like a peacock to you?
Mowgli thinks he's back in Hawaii.
Oh, man. I want someone to make a comic book of Magic and Mowgli. Just going on adventures off on their own.
With capes.
Yeah, they have little capes. Just traveling
He's got
through.
his ears up and his guard dog stands.
Oh, you know, Cass and I want to give a recommendation. A friend of ours made an awesome movie called Everything Everywhere All at Once. In theaters now.
Really good.
Really good. If you're into this podcast and like Rick and Morty and smoking weed and smoking DMT and shit, this is the movie for you. Very rad.
Damn, yeah. That was a trip. Definitely a trip of a movie. I'm like kind of appreciative. Yeah, you were saying after we left, you're like, damn, like everything is now needs to be like this multiverse thing. And I'm like, yeah, because that's like where our collective consciousness is at. It's like this awareness of what's going on a deeper level. And so like art is having to push the limits so far.
Yeah.
And it's happening, like the exponential growth happens not just to technology, but to art and expression.
Yeah, it's like, and all of a sudden everything
everywhere all at once.
Everything everywhere all at once. And it's, but everything, all the trailers, everything we see, all the ads and everything, they're all about like multiverse worlds. And, like, you know, the consequences, I mean, there could be a conspiracy theory in here because we're destroying our Earth, and they're just like, hey, let's create this whole cinematic universe of things where, like, everything's pretty much consequence-free because you could hop into another timeline. We just don't have access to that yet. You know what I mean? That's what, like, everything seems to involve those kind of characteristics now. And I'm like, what the fuck's that all about? But Cass nailed it.
Taco Bell has a multiverse commercial now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just what we're becoming aware of. I was just thinking about this yesterday, like how one human learns something on one side of the planet and then we all learn it.
Yeah.
That's like definitely what's happening.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. And then just thinking about how sometimes like the stuff that comes out in the mainstream feels like it's like a consciousness step behind for some reason. I don't know what that's about. It's just that the system is so systematic, it's not tapped into the entire wholeness of everything.
It's also appealing to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You know, we're all kind of generally pretty basic.
Yeah. The consequence-free thing is kind of interesting with like hopping dimensions and stuff.
Yeah.
Consequence-free.
If nothing matters, you know.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
It feels nefarious in that way to me.
Yeah.
Like,
well, because the absurdist philosophy comes from like the scientific approach to everything, and it is why it scares me too. Nothing matters; it's all random.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
It's
who
like
cares?
it does matter. It feels like it matters. I'm gonna carry on as if it matters.
Love matters. This is what I've realized in my inner journeys.
Oh, here we go.
Interstellar, Cass.
Yeah.
Here we go, Cass.
Yeah, no, you're true. Nothing is real. It's all an illusion. But we have love, and that's good enough for me. And it's real enough. And love isn't just about loving your dog or your partner or yourself. It's about loving this earth and caring for it. And I just think we just don't have this caretaker spirit, you know what I mean? We have to like extend it out beyond like, okay, I got to take care of my own mental health and I got to take care of myself, and we're so self-consumed. And I think it's like the kind of what you were talking about like, you're not sick, don't relax,
don't give in to that.
You're not sick, because when you think that you're sick and you're the only one that needs to be healed, you're missing a much bigger picture of like this larger.
Yeah. Well, and when you say nothing matters too, it's so, to me, it's just screaming depression, because when you're not depressed, what you want matters. Because even if spirit, like none of the systems matter, religion doesn't matter, Jesus doesn't matter, whatever, and it's just about what do you want to do in this multiverse, that should be exciting in itself. It almost requires depression to get to a place of nihilism and like nothing matters.
Yeah.
I get there all the time on set. Like to me, it's like,
me too.
That's what it reflects most, is like people just like shutting off their feelings. Because really, when you have feelings, stuff matters, even if it matters in the wrong way. You know?
You got to really take that road to hell to like really want to be on a more positive path. You know what I mean? Because once you go to like this hell and this fear realm and the nihilism and nothing matters, like then, okay, nothing matters, but who wants to live like that? You don't. Like, that's not a fun way to live. So now it's like, okay, how do we want to live? We want to care about people. We want to care about things. We want to care about making art. We want to create. We want to see how we can affect.
Magic.
Yeah, we're playing with magic.
Yeah, baby.
Right back at you. Magic,
no, for
where
real.
are you at?
Yeah. And that's why it's so easy to get lost in thought these days, is like there's like all this existential angst. Like before, when we were like older humans, there was like a religion and a caste system to fall to, you know?
Yeah.
Where we were like, oh, this is the way. This is the role. This is the way. And now it's like, whatever you want.
But it requires you buying something.
And it's kind of terrifying,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Even if it didn't require me buying anything. Just the
It's-
idea of like, whatever I want.
That
But
we've
it's all on me, you know?
That we've reached a level of technology that like we're so concerned with our survival all the time. So it really is all on you. It's like, okay, so then what are you going to do with this experience? Okay, you have access to the blank
yeah,
canvas.
no, we're at this level of consciousness where it's you come into this planet and it's like whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
You could go full Jesus if you want.
You could go full Jesus if you want.
And like you should. You should.
You definitely
Any
should.
opportunity you get to, and it feels like, you know, like when Cass says like, at least there's love. It really feels like that. Like it's so true, and you know we've all stripped the layers away, and that seems to be what's like beneath it all. And it makes me feel like when you hate something or someone, that's like you've totally thrown in the towel. They've won. It's won.
Yeah.
You know, that's how strong love is, and the pull towards that. Like that's the final death blow is like, I hate this fucking thing. I'm totally despondent. I can't, you know.
Yeah.
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 So
that's when your cells just stop giving up with you.
Pretty much, like,
I think
like
so.
that's kind of what these days I feel like we're fighting against, is
Oh,
like
yeah.
the pull towards that darkness.
Oh yeah.
That.
Oh yeah.
You know, that nothing matters, and like that. Like I, in a psychedelic way, I really appreciate like the Rick and Morty, everything everywhere all at once type of like popping into these other dimensions. But it's so depressing because it always depicts like some throwaway version of you. Some like, oh wow, it's like, oh, they're doing this menial thing or whatever, and it's just like, it's like I feel like it's like, I don't know, it's not charged with like the sacredness and divinity that like what that like the weight of that being able to pop into different things, into these different experiences or whatever. They're usually trivialized in these things, but they're comedies, so you know. Yeah.
Sometimes they can get the death energy in kind of in an exciting way for me, though, where it's like not so negative, and I like that.
Like, yeah.
You know, because I think it obviously causes us a lot of problems, and I think it's just as important as life, right? That's why it exists.
Absolutely.
And I think it has just as much to do with love as life does. And yeah. Love does seem to be the underlying pulse, creative impulse for things to continue, like an in-breath or an out-breath or something. But there's other things to explore and other things to find too. Like there's not just love. Like if that bores you, there's like there really are like a trillion million frequencies out there that are roaring.
You can do goth.
You could do goth.
Well, they're all different. They're all different flavors for love. We just have a limited language.
Are you a lover or are you goth?
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think like probably as a culture we don't talk about like we have talked about heaven, but that's kind of dropped off. But like this kind of ending the cycle of birth and death, the samsara, like the moksha, or how do you ever pronounce it? Like how do we? It's kind of confusing. We don't have a lot to grasp onto about like a lot of us like being here. So the idea that you could like kind of reach your final form and not go around again is kind of scary. But then you also don't know how you're going to go around again. And like there is like a purpose, it feels like, to keeping your heart and mind pure so that when the moment of death comes, you are ready to transform into a more expansive way of being in this universe.
I've been trying to do all I can to not resurrect again ever since I became aware, which is probably at like 9 or something or 8.
Damn,
like,
hopefully that doesn't blow up in your face.
Whatever we can do.
Get
not
on those
incarnate
rosary.
again.
Your
and it's funny,
name's-
and then you get into the astrology of it, and it's like, oh, I was just born on like the last of a moon or something, and so it's like I have a finalizing attitude about things or whatever, you know. It is the last phase for me of something, you know.
Blame it on the
and
stars.
you look at yours, and it's like, oh, you're at this new birthing
baby.
phase. You're a new baby in the universe or whatever, and so of course you have this like exploratory energy about it, you know. And it does feel like I've been here for a million trillion years, and like.
Well, some of us like it. Excuse me.
I love it. I love it.
By the way, some of us like it here.
Yeah,
Mary's
because
like, I'm getting too old for this shit.
I can't remember what book it is, but love is the last illusion of all the illusions that humans go through, and it's true.
Siddhartha talks about that because the love for his son is like one of the greatest illusions, and he's like this wise man.
Yeah. So like, I feel like I've gone through that, and so like love is exciting, but yeah, it's like I don't know. There's a point of experiencing stuff, right? That you want to go on to the next thing, but that's also energetically kind of how I am, anyways.
You ready to wrap this thing up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Our life. What are we talking about?
We're going out in a blaze of glory.
Will you do another bag?
Yeah.
Suicide pact.
Yeah, that would be a good name for a podcast.
Damn, I just read about 2 sisters that like went to Europe and got formal suicide. There's a name for it.
Euthanasia.
Nah, there's a better name for when you pay somebody to kill you. Anyways.
Euthanize. Pretty sure it's a youth or something. Euthanetics.
Yeah. I think incarnating is whatever you want, Cass. I think you should do it as many times as you want to do it.
Thanks.
I think that's the problem, is like we're all coming to realize like it's whatever you want. In this body and not whatever you want. What the fuck do you want? And then you got to face that scary question.
I'm like trying to move to this place of being more excited by the uncertainty than like dreadful of it. Because like it's really anxiety provoking for me that like I don't know whether I'm going to be what I'm going to be in the next life. Because I've had some experiences while being super high that were quite unpleasant and felt like they could last an eternity. And it's kind of spooked me in the way of like, oh no, could that happen? Where I am a genie in a bottle?
Yeah.
And I need to wait for someone to rub me the right way? No. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that, like, I've had moments where, like, I'm cold and I could never imagine being warm again. And, like, you don't know how long you could be reincarnated as a rock in the desert, you know? And be cold for a long.
So you don't want to go. You don't want to fixate on it, on being cold too much.
Well, life spooked me too. Like as a young, arrogant lass, like I just thought I could move through the world and do whatever I want under no consequence of other forces or outer forces that would impact my life. And then you like,
run up against karma.
And then you get into a car accident and have your face smashed in. And you're like, oh,
damn.
There are other forces of life. And you get spooked to a level that you're like, you just come to realize, what chaos is and organization and the existence of the both and like what you're dealing with. And then, I can relate to that on this lifetime of a level though.
Yeah.
Yeah, spooked.
Yeah.
You can go to hell if you want to on this planet.
Well, I think-
promise.
when
No,
we talk about
totally.
incarnations, like you guys are even talking about this lifetime. Like Mare's already done so many passes through. And,
I'm a slow learner, y'all. You know what I
and
mean?
Cass
I'm
is
about
on
to do
like a
this
slow
lot.
burn, long one, and she's like,
No,
I
Cass
would
is a
do-
quick learner. She just arrived, you know.
Yeah,
I learn from other people's mistakes is how I like to do it.
she does. Yeah.
You know, that's what they say about our human design things. Is apparently manifestors are supposed to like play out mistakes. It's like part of our thing. It's
That's
because
funny.
we're like the outer edges of whatever's going on. It's like people like watch us do the rise, do the fall, like make the mistake.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, like my life is just playing out mistakes or whatever. And I was
Explain
like,
it.
word. Word.
Word up. Okay, I feel
I
you.
relate to that really hard.
I feel you, motherfucker. Damn, look at these chemtrails.
Big time.
Damn. You know.
I know I need this cloud to phase so I can get this sun in my arms again.
Yeah, one more
going.
sunburst. and
I was
we'll
too
fill
hot.
This bag.
I'm like melting over here.
Yeah,
Burned up.
the vampire.
Thanks for joining us. We're putting out a new movie called American Sunset. You should check it out.
Just trying to get that out 420. Hopefully to the Discord folks before that.
Yeah, we're going to get it out to our Patreon folks. Patreon.com/churchofchill. Lots of new stuff on there all the time. But we've been putting a lot of stuff on the Patreon. Some good Church of Chills, my favorite ones yet.
Yeah, no, so they've been real good.
Some bonus content on there. The last time we took acid together, there's a podcast on there. Our
Yeah.
last podcast from our apartment.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy, funny, acid, goofy one.
that was a wild one.
Yeah.
That was this one. We had somebody not on the acid, so we weren't fully in just
I'm sorry.
goofball mode. No, it's good. I think
you
we
held
killed
it
it on
down.
this. There we go. That's what we're
So I was
waiting
out in
for.
the outer space, so it was
Oh,
good
me too.
somebody had feet on the ground,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, we needed that.
That's usually me.
And maybe you're probably gonna be busy
Oh,
working tomorrow, but maybe me and Meryl hop on and do a little bonus one for the people.
Yeah, I'd love it.
I could talk about my triumphant darts that I'm gonna play tonight.
Oh, yeah? You're going to kill it?
Oh yeah, people love hearing about my
You're gonna
dart,
crush it?
my dart playing.
Maybe I'll take some videos tonight.
Going to be in line?
Yeah.
Your highest dimension?
Well, that's why I took acid
This
today.
crazy multiverse?
I was like, we have to take acid tomorrow. If we're gonna do it, we gotta do it tomorrow. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Yeah. So here we are.
Yeah, acid's the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. We're out.